Okay, so here's a daylight update on the Fab 4's Black Steel Elite mounting plate for the winch on a 2018 F250. So my buddy and I got it back on. Make friends when you go to work. Get some help with this stuff. And it turned out it ain't even that heavy. It's maybe 200 pounds with the winch and the mount plate, and that's 130 pounds right there. So I mean, this ain't as heavy as it should have been. Turned out you need the buddy because it's a contortionist act to get to any of this stuff. So I was crawled underneath, and he was out here with the breaker bar, and getting all these bolts was really hard on that other piece. But so, and the other weird thing is the license plate bracket had 3 side bolts on each side. They were here, here, and here, and this one's only got 2. So that seems odd that the thing that's going to pull more weight has 2 less bolts. So I'm going to poke around and see if I could find... Oh, and then this plate is thicker, so the bolt's almost not long enough. I put a bunch of Loctite in there, so that should help some. But my towing hooks are gonna go here, right there. Now these are easier to reach, not that I need them anymore. The hole is big enough for my hand to reach in and grab the clutch and turn it on the winch. But you got 0 way to see your line to know if you're spooling evenly or not. And then it's got a hole big enough to reach the wired controller plug. I'll just have to figure out how to do that by feel. So it's going to take some practice. And I got the fair lead in the license plate swivel bracket, so the license plate will fold down like that and it covers all this fair lead. And I was trying to figure out what this is, and I figured out it's probably the most likely thing is to put one of those chintzy D-ring hooks like you get at Walmart, because these holes are so little they're not made for pulling weight. So I think you get one of those D-ring hooks and you hook your winch right there. I'm pretty sure that's what that's for. And these 2 holes are for if you have a front-facing mount winch. So if your winch has the feet in the front, you bolt it to these 4 holes. And so you would need really super long bolts for your fair lead. But yeah, this thing is... We put a full dude's body weight on the breaker bar, tightening these bolts in, and they're not getting anywhere. They're not coming off. And then got my fog lights, so I gotta just clip the fog lights back in. They're on this cable here, and it's got these plugs that go into the bumper. They're kind of rough shape, but there's all kinds of room under here for the winch. Let me try zoom out. There you go, half zoom. So there's all kinds of room on this tree. It says it'll do a 16,500 pound winch. This one is a 13,000 pound winch from open road. I got my power line I need to run up to the battery, and then hook the fog lights back in, and then it should be functional. So it's gonna be pretty neat. And I'll be... Oh, and then I kind of bent the washers, tightening the feet down. So yeah, none of this is going anywhere for a long time. It should be pretty good. And then, yeah, overall it's gonna be, because what I first thought, these are the holes I keep talking about, the threaded holes. So when I bought the bumper, the guy was like, yeah, you just put a thing there, you just put a mounting plate there, and you put a winch on it, and you're good to go. It's modular for the future. Well, what goes there is a receiver hitch, and that's about $120 just for a receiver hitch to go there, and then you could put a removable winch mount in it. About the only purpose I found that might possibly do is they got those hammock stands that go in your rear receiver hitch. You put one of those up front, be in front of your truck. That's about the only thing I would ever use it for. And I'm paying $120 for a receiver hitch and then another 80 something for a hammock mount. I'm not going to want to hang out in front of my truck for $300 something worth of equipment. So I might figure out how to figure out what bolt size that is and make a light bar bracket. Put some work lights right here. That would be handy. So I'll figure that out. Oh, and then it's got these holes here, which I'm guessing is for floodlights, little low mounted work lights. I don't know what else that hole would be for, because it's nothing you could put a shackle in. You can't put a hook in there. It's just the same size as these bolt holes. And I might ask the support. They closed my ticket because I didn't reply for like 3 days while I was trying to figure out how to get this thing installed. But I will say that the support gal, she actually answered all the questions and sent me some better pictures that should have been in the marketing and in the instruction book. But nobody covered what this is or what those are, or why there's only 2 bolts instead of 3 in the sides. So I might have to reopen that ticket and ask about that. But right now it's held on with 12 bolts. It's got the 8 mounting bolts that hook it to the truck, and then these 2 to keep it from rotating. So should be plenty strong. And I'm sure with the topper and the winch now, my truck is closer to 10,000. Oh, and the deck system. My truck's probably closer to 10,000 pounds than 9,000 pounds, which is the last time I scaled it. But I did scale it full of all my stuff, and right now this truck is relatively empty, so it might still be 9,000 pounds. But overall, it'll work. I'll probably... those are powder coat etched. That white is some kind of powder coat. It's actually kind of laser engraved. So it's good quality, but I'm going to black it out like I did most of the other logos. This one's the only one I haven't blacked out yet, and it's mostly hidden by the bar. I just want to replace this whole thing with a blacked out grill anyway, eventually. But that's probably not ever going to actually happen. That's it. That's it for this. I'll get to work on finishing it up.